be on the checkout where we talk to people building e-commerce businesses about what really happens behind the storefront. Today I'm joined by Dean Krowitz, co-founder of Blend AI, the platform that automates ad campaigns across Meta, Google, TikTok for hundreds of e-commerce businesses. Dean, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
That's all right. Let's just have a quick version of what Blend AI is and what made you start it.
So Blend AI is an ad execution platform for e-commerce stores, and it's built to automate all of the manual tasks surrounding ad execution across multiple channels. So out of the box, we connect into e-commerce stores and then connect them into one of any 5 channels we support at the moment: TikTok, Microsoft, YouTube, Google, and Meta. And the job of Blend is to take creative and deploy it into these channels, and then using signals, actually make budget adjustments for the user. And so that probably is a good lead into why we built it. We saw that people were over investing in one channel, and if that channel failed, often the business failed. And we actually just thought there was a better way to do it. This is pre the dawn of AI, and we decided to call it AI, and we didn't think anyone would know what that meant. But turns out that was a pretty good decision. And it was based on the assumption that a machine can do a better job of receiving multiple signals at any given time and then taking an action. And that's what our clients do. So when they're running a Blend campaign, we're not doubling down on any one channel in particular. Budget flows where conversions are coming from. And in untangling that mess, Blend delivers value for all of our clients.
Yeah, okay. So you've got hundreds of brand running ads through Blend. No single brand can. So that's the view I really want to tap into. So what's what's the mistake you see e-commerce brands make with their ads again and again?
They invest in one channel because that channel tells them it's getting the conversions, and they don't appreciate that a conversion is often the result of multiple touches. And trusting one of these channels to tell you that it is performing is the mistake, because inevitably it is a result of multiple touch points through paid, organic, and other means that leads to a sale. And the mistake that a lot of people make is looking at the conversion metric in isolation, particularly from one channel, and using that as a basis to make decisions. We see really often brands that will say, no, Meta's getting me all of my conversions. And meanwhile, the prospecting is coming from Google. So they might overinvest in Meta, neglect Google, and then the ads tank. And then they get stuck in this spiral of trying to get Meta working. Is it my creative? Is it my ad sets? Is it my audiences? Maybe my pixel's not working properly. But actually, they've kneecapped themselves because they haven't actually looked at the wider funnel. And that's something that Blend tries to do for them really simply.
Yeah, right. So with Blend, it can actually go in the background, it can analyze all these things and work out where it's actually coming from and where you're best to put that spend.
They don't even need to put that spend there. That's the thing. So when we talk about execution, we're not just talking about putting content into a campaign, giving it a budget, and then making adjustments. We want the data to feed everything, and we want the machine to make the decision for you. So if you're running a Blend campaign, that campaign will be made up of like multiple channels. You might have Google, TikTok, Microsoft running in that campaign. Yeah, and we might be selling socks, and we're selling socks across these channels, and we've given that $1,000 a day budget. How do you move that budget? Like, let's remove Blend for a sec. Let's say that you had $1,000 to spend, Mike. How do you spend that money, right? And you'll say, oh, look, I'll probably divide it up to Google. I'll give 30%, and I'll give 30% to this channel, and another 40% to this channel. But often it's not grounded in real science or real analytics. And so what Blend does is it just takes that decisioning away, and it says, right, give us your content, give us the channels you want to send it to, give us the budget you're willing to spend on this campaign, and then the machine will actually start moving the budget between the channels, between the creative inside those channels, and even between the audiences within those channels.
Yeah, that's really cool. Um, So where do brands waste most of their ad spend then?
In channels that are telling them that they're converting. Sorry, that was Jack just coughing in the background. They waste it often in channels that tell them that they're converting, or they're wasting it on content that's not performing. And the hidden cost, actually, more recently, what I've seen, is not actually wasting ad spend, but wasting content. So we'll often see people put multiple pieces of content inside the campaign, and they might put 10 pieces of content in there. They'll give it a budget, and in almost 95% of cases, the top two pieces of content get 90% of the impression share. And the channel goes, oh yeah, that's because they're converting. They're the ones that are converting. But what we know through literally hundreds of millions of dollars of ad spend is if you actually silo the creative out and you give it air to breathe and you control the pacing, it can actually perform really, really well. That long tail content that wasn't performing when it was grouped with everything else can actually perform really, really well. So people waste a lot of money creating content because content is not free. Even if you're using AI to generate it, it takes time, takes effort, takes money, takes your focus. And so they waste it in unused creative a lot of the time. That's really common in all of the accounts we look at.
Yeah, right. So when the brands come to you, are they usually broken on the creative, the targeting, or the measurement, or all of the above?
I'd say
Or what? Yeah.
all of the above, one of the above. It varies. We'll often see very similar structures inside ad accounts. We might see fundamental data layers broken inside Google. Might see no tags set up, poor conversion events, um, audiences that aren't working properly, overlapping audiences inside ad account. Like there's you know any number of issues. Um, and what we just do is untangle it all. So when someone comes to us, they might have a mess, they might have an okay setup. What Blend just seeks to do is just simplify the execution for them. So as soon as they install Blend, the Blend Pixel is storing events for them. Our server-side tracking is working in the background. We're synchronizing audience data into all of these ad channels. We're building audiences for them inside their own assets. And it just alleviates a lot of the distraction that brand owners and media buyers have inside these businesses because they should be focused on the message, not the plumbing. And that's what Blend is designed to do. It just helps them with the plumbing so they can stay focused on what actually moves the needle. It's so funny. I meet like so many e-commerce owners and they sound like media buyers. And I'm like, you're not a media buyer. You're an e-commerce owner. What are you doing? Ah, like I've tried this agency, I've tried that agency, I've decided to bring it in-house. Whatever your flavor is, you're not there buying, you should not be there buying media. You should not be stuck in ad managers. There's just a smarter way to do it. And so I'm really proud that the Blend clients, they come to us and they've like been stuck inside Meta or they've been stuck inside Google. When they start using Blend, like all of a sudden they're using Blend, the Blend interface to manage ad spend. And if they've got a question, they reach out to the team can help them. And we've got some real success stories to show for it.
Yeah, cool. But what finally makes a brand say yes and start paying? Like, what's the trigger for them to come to you?
Depends on the brand. Depends how burnt they are from past experiences. I don't know. Like, there's no. I think brands on the whole, they come to us when they're tired of the status quo. And I was actually talking to someone yesterday. It was a prospect, and they're an established brand. They've been around for 14 years. And he's just fired his 10th agency, I think he told me. And I was like, come on, like, is something broken here? Like, are you going to find, the silver bullet? Um, and these are the brands who realize, okay, maybe there's a way I can kind of take back some of the control, manage, still regain control over what matters, like my content, my messaging, my strategy, and maybe there's just a smarter way I can operate. These are the ones we love working with. and also brands who appreciate that like there is no silver bullet. We will often be proud when ad spend reduces with us. That's super proud if that happens. If you come to Blend, you're spending 30 grand on ads, and all of a sudden you're spending 20 grand on ads and getting the same results,
Yeah,
happy
all
days.
better.
That's great, right? Because so many brands come to us conditioned with the vanity metrics that drive an e-commerce store, because that's how a lot of the messaging appears out there in the open. And so these are also brands we're really proud to work with. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. What separates the brands whose ads actually scale from the ones that stuck on the same revenue?
Sorry, oh, you broke up. What was the question?
What separates the brands whose ads actually scale from the ones that are stuck on the same revenue? Yeah, so what do the ones that do what do the ones that break through do differently?
So we serve everyone. I always say this, but we serve clients selling pet care all the way through to sofas, okay, and everything in between. The ones that win understand that no one knows the answer. They test. They test. And I don't care like what the latest craze is. Okay, is it a UGC thing? Is it someone holding a microphone and whatever the flavor may be? The ones that win test and they constantly are launching new ads. Now that doesn't mean that like they're growing their budget infinitely. It means that they're cycling through creative strategies and creative messaging routinely as part of their process. They don't set and forget.
Yeah,
They're an active participant in that process because messaging gets stale and we need to keep it fresh and we need to appreciate that like, people are distracted. Um, and so I think those brands as a whole do really, really well. The brands that also incorporate things other than ads into the mix, email, organics, partnerships, everything like that, that they understand like retargeting is not just a metric or a word to be used in performance marketing. Retargeting should happen on all of your channels. So when you look at it as like a holistic, we call it like a composite funnel. It's made up of multiple things. These are the brands that typically win.
yeah, all right. So beyond ads, where else do you see brands leaking growth, like emails, retention, the site?
I mean, just not understanding metrics. So um, if a brand comes to you and says, okay, this is a great return for me, when we start diving a little bit deeper and asking them, well, what's the lifetime of your customer, or how much does it cost you to acquire new customers, or what's the repeat purchasing look like? These brands that don't understand the basic metrics tend to struggle. And there's no shortage of tools that can help with that now. Like a year ago, different story. But now there's a lot of tools that can help with that. What was the question, Mike? I've actually just gone on a tangent and I forgot the question.
That's all right. Yeah, I was just saying beyond the ads, yeah, where else do you see brands leaking growth?
Yeah, right. So brands that don't invest in like email as a retention and re-engagement tool, definitely leak. And brands that aren't across the metrics, that's why I was talking about the metrics before, they leak money in channels that aren't actually working for them. Even if the vanity metric is quite strong, if the customers coming from that channel aren't repeat customers, they're not growing and they're actually leaking. They're leaking money as well. So um, it's hard to give you an answer that can fit every client, but those are a couple of them.
Yeah, fair
Sorry,
enough.
that's a bit of a fumbled answer, but
Yeah.
I mean it's really hard to tell you.
Oh, well,
Metric
it
of
leads
the
into the
same.
next one anyway. So, if every brand you work with fixed one thing tomorrow, what would make the biggest difference for most brands?
God, it's so hard. I mean, um, um, I think the question, I don't know if it's the thing to fix, but it's the question to ask. If you look at your channels, let's say you have three channels that you're using for paid acquisition. If you look at those three channels, ask yourself, How did you come to that split? How did you give 30% to channel A, 60% to channel B, and 10% to channel C? What led you to that decision? I think if you run through that exercise as an owner, that's a good place to start, and it might reveal some some insights for you.
Yeah, cool. Oh, thanks very much for coming on today. Good insights into, what your business does, and I suppose a lot of this can probably help other businesses in understanding what these metrics are, and that they need to focus on them, and where they can go to get a solution.
Appreciate it, Mike. Thanks for having me.